Welcome to another round of SDH's coverage of USL League One. We'll let you know what happened in the week that was, get you ready for the week that will be. But first and foremost, big news involving teams all across the USL Championship, League One, and League Two. But a lot of those franchises here in the footprint for SDH. There was a press conference and there was a release of information by the USL where the USL Women's Division is now up and running, and it will have, the announcement had 8 initial franchises that are going to be involved with the USL W, as it's called. And those 8 franchises have 3 that are initially in USL League One. So what we got the chance to do was catch up with the co-owner and the team president for South Georgia Tormenta FC, Darin van Tassell. And Darin talked about the division, the genesis of USLW, and what it means to Tormenta as a part of the footprint, and having some partners from USL League One be a part of the launch next year.
And now SDH's coverage of USL League One continues. We catch up with co-owner president Darin van Tassell of South Georgia Tormenta. You had a pretty busy day there starting things off before you hit the road to go check in on T2, didn't you?
Well, we did, John. It was a big day. As you know, the USL family has grown today. And those 4 flags now has a 5th. Championship, League One, League Two, USL Academy, and now the USL W-League. So Tormenta flies 4 of those flags. So honored and happy to announce the new W-League franchise for us.
How did those conversations start? I mean, I know it was something that a lot of folks think is needed in this day and age. How did the conversation specifically start with you, or was it something that you had on the radar from the absolute beginning, saw the USLW go, and it's like, yep, we're in?
Well, I think it was going both ways. There was certainly, as a league standpoint, saw a gaping need where we were covering, elite men's programs and the path to pros, much less the pros. But we had a big opening there on the women's side. And for those of us that are running full-fledged academies, it's a pretty tough conversation with our elite players when we don't really have a place for them. So we needed it. It's super important for our elite women to have a place to go. And listen, if you're in soccer circles, on the national team, we know how well the women are, and we've got to do our part to continue to grow that on the national scene. And Tormenta's got to make sure we're buttoning up our own academy to be able to do so.
And in the academy, with its presence and the impact and really the saturation of the footprint there in East Georgia and the coast and the low country and heading toward Macon in central Georgia, I mean, just from a high school perspective, you have the Savannah schools, you have Vidalia's girls team that made a run with one of the most prolific goal scorers in recent history. So the talent has been there and the talent continues to be there. And now you get the chance to take it to that next logical step where they get to represent the magenta and do it in a way where the USL is connected to.
Well, it's a brand new opening, and that window is wide open. I think the more players that we can have that are from this part of the state, this part of the country, the better. I think that's one way you grow the fan base. We've obviously been on the men's side, been reaching around not just this area, but all over the globe. And we're here to win championships, not just and to grow the game. This is doing both. We've had just some superb women in our academy right now that are playing at the top collegiate programs. So we'll certainly be reaching out to them, their teammates, and quite frankly, folks from all over the country and the world who can come spend the summer with us and to grow their game and to make themselves an offering for the next stages of the pro level and their national teams.
So you've got, as a part of the original 8, you've got some partners and some dance partners that you're already hanging out with in USL League One, and you get to add the natural rivalry that's there in League One now to USLW with what you get to see in Chattanooga and what you're going to get to see in Greenville too. So it's another extension of all of this that we're seeing in League One.
Isn't that fun? It was part of the poll, I think, for folks both in Greenville and Chattanooga. I had lots of conversation with both, probably even more so with Greenville. It's a perfect rivalry for us. I think the owners in those three teams that you've mentioned, listen, I think we see ourselves as part of the same team. That's the USL, and we just want to smash each other when we, play it, when our teams go head to head. But we're trying to grow a league at all these different places to do it. And it's going to be great because right off the bat, Chattanooga and Greenville are going to be perfect fits for the fans in the three cities. It's a natural link that we've created. And quite frankly, seeing the DC United, foray into the first eight, I think speaks all you need to know about just how important what we've done today is. There's a ton more teams coming also.
And, obviously you look at that, and it's great to see this kind of growth. What has been the immediate response been like ever since this information got out? What has been the immediate feedback? I don't know if you've had a whole lot of time to look at a sample size or anything, but as far as you and Nitra and the franchise, what's been the immediate feedback?
Well, the phone lines and email and text are all going pretty hot and heavy. I may need you to look in on Twitter and tell me what's happening. I'm headed to watch the second team play in Atlanta today, and then down to the first team watching. Only in COVID times do you fly to Orlando to play Toronto tomorrow. But the texts that I'm getting they're heartwarming. We all are wanting to grow this game, and men and women play it. And in this country, the women play it even better, at least on the global stage. I think most of what I'm hearing today too is, Nitra really led the press conference and got in front of the cameras, and we've got to do that more often.
So, there's the runway isn't as long as folks they think. It's like, okay, so 2022, but that's not a very long runway when it comes to development and in making sure that things go the way that they should, considering all the other things that are going on with the other flags that are being flown right now by South Georgia Tormenta. I mean, this is gonna really, you're getting a lot of folks with their noses to the grindstone here to make sure that this goes off without a hitch too.
Yeah, it's tomorrow. This season starts tomorrow. But we've got big announcements to make. We're gonna, if people go to our website, they'll see a couple of things. One, season tickets are already on sale for the club. There's also a link for fans to start at least offering their 2 cents and 4 quarters in terms of potential names and branding. We've got some ideas, but we want to hear from them. We are very eager here in the next little while to publicly tell folks who the first ever head coach of the team will be. We are holding back on that one because we obviously had a big announcement today. We've been very busy in the background, John, and those are some fun elements that are coming. Thank goodness we belong to a league that has gotten those things taken care of. And, there's even some USL W merchandise that's out there that proceeds are going to some really important organizations nationally. And those early season tickets for us, proceeds are going to go to our own IBIS Foundation to help grow the game locally.
TormentaFC.com/W-League right now for those that want to dive in on the website. When it comes to the individual that you're looking for to lead the Tormenta women in the USLW, what kind of individual are you looking for on the touchline to continue to grow things and continue to make sure that the game is done the right way, that everything is taught the right way, and that those flags that we've been talking about continue to work forward as a unit instead of not making sure that one's left behind over the others?
I think there's some obvious pieces. You want, when people see our clubs and teams play on the academy, that they recognize those are probably Tormenta players, or Tormenta teams play a certain way. That element has really started to come together under Ian Cameron on the men's side. But Ian also has a great deal of influence on the women's side. We've made some really key hires up and down the academy and the pro side in the past 6 months. Here's what's important to Tormenta. If you're going to, carry the banner for our USLW team, you've also got to be active in the academy. All of our coaches on the men's side are, so that's going to be an important piece. And growth and being a teacher are going to be at the top of that list. And quite frankly, there got to be folks that you want to be around who want to be something bigger than what they're a part of. Those are sayings I think a whole bunch of us would say, John, but for us, they matter. We've got to enjoy each other's time, and it's amazing what you can do when no single person needs to take credit for what's going on. And organizationally, we've spent a lot of time getting those things right. Obviously, we've been very open with the need for what we need to do structurally from a stadium and having places to play. This is a huge stake in the ground for Tormenta to get our younger footprint right, and to have a place for them to play, and for future professionals to come out of the W side.
What's it been like for you to see the other co-owner? You could tell at the press conference today that Nitra could not have been more excited to see this day come to pass. What's it been like for you to look at the other co-owner and see all of that come through from Nitra at the presser today?
Well, it was the best part of watching Nitra's joy and excitement today. There was one too many males on the podium today, and I was one of four. Nitra said it best. There's a video that the USL has put out about 7 minutes that was released today. Kelsey Steele from USL's interviewing Nitra, and you really see, Nitra's obviously, part of the helm with the business side and growing the brand, and that title of executive team mom, she's terrific at. One, just because she's got the touch, but being able to recognize what it means for let's remind ourselves, half the planet's female, and this was an area we didn't have an outlet for our best players to go to, but now we do. She's an athlete herself, and was highly competitive, and I think we all know what it feels like for doors to be open. They weren't there before, and now they are.
Well, Darin, once again, it's another flag to fly down there just off of Veterans Memorial Parkway. Great to see things continue to grow. Great to see things continue to move forward there with South Georgia Tormenta as USLW gets to be a part of the process. Once again, Darin, thanks for hanging out with us for our weekly coverage of USL League One, now the USL W, and everything that is going on down there in Statesboro. Safe travels. I know you're catching up with T2 a little later as we talk, so just be safe. We will catch up soon, my friend.
Talking with you is always the best part of the week, John.
USL Director of Women's Soccer, Betsy Hoff, said that the goal for the league, for the W-League, as it's going to be known, is to use women's soccer as a force for societal good by creating a national platform to increase opportunity, gender equity, career development. Expecting to have as many as 30 clubs for the inaugural season, 750 new opportunities to play, work, and coach in the women's game. We're very excited about what the future holds. End quote. And so you look at the new members that are associated with USLW, and we discussed the three that are really going to be rivals coming out of the blocks, out of the first 8. You have Chattanooga Red Wolves, Greenville Triumph, and you have South Georgia Tormenta. Hartford Athletic will be a part of it coming out of the USL Championship. Caw Valley FC, which a lot of folks may know from their space in D2. There will be an independent group out of Minnesota. Queensboro FC coming into the USL Championship. And DC United's interest will be in the Washington, D.C. area. And so I think the plan is to have them play at Segra Field. So that's the original 8, as the league thinks they're going to get to 30 for the first year of competition. Let's kind of give you an update as to what else was going on around USL League One and get you into the team of the week for week number 9. Neil Vigneaults ends up Player of the Week honors, midfielder from Richmond. Also on the board, it is from Fort Lauderdale CF, in net Luis Zamudio. Richmond Kickers defense, Juan Pablo Monticelli. You have Brian Rosales from Fort Lauderdale, Damia Villader from Union Omaha. That's your back line. Your midfield, Vigneaults, George Acosta from Fort Lauderdale, Selmir Miscic from North Carolina FC, Daniel Bedoya from FC Tucson, Emir Ali Hadzic from Union Omaha, and up top it is Azad Liadi for Tormenta and Jake Keegan for Forward Madison. So that's a look at your team of the week for League One in week number 9. You had Fort Lauderdale CF's 2-2 draw with Forward Madison, 2-1 away against North Carolina FC. They led with 3 players in this particular week's grouping. So your standings coming into this particular week, Union Omaha, top of the table. They've only played 7 matches. They are at 4-1-2 at 14 points. Greenville still has not lost a match this year, but they've only played 5. They're at 13 points. Same with Fort Lauderdale CF, who has played 10 matches already. Forward Madison is at 11 points. Richmond and Chattanooga are at 10. That is above the playoff line. FC Tucson's at 8. North Texas SC, New England Revolution 2, they're at 7. South Georgia Tormenta, Toronto FC 2, they are at 6. And North Carolina FC, 5 matches in, they have the 1 draw so far to show for it. Let's take a look at the schedule upcoming for the week and let you know what's going on in USL League One. You have Osceola Heritage Park hosting South Georgia Tormenta and Toronto FC at 7 o'clock Wednesday night this weekend. Breeze Stevens will host Richmond Kickers. Forward Madison will get them at home. Warner Park Union Omaha will host New England Revolution 2. Chattanooga Red Wolves having to go all the way out to Tucson to Keno North. Late night USL League One after dark on Saturday. On Sunday at Globe Life, Greenville Triumph gets back into playing matches. They go to North Texas SC. And then back on Sunday, Toronto FC 2 gets to make the trip to Statesboro. 4 out of the next 5 matches for South Georgia Tormenta will be against Toronto FC 2. It's going to be a very busy couple of weeks for them, going midweek weekend to catch up from all of the matches that they haven't had the opportunity to play because of their geographic distance to everybody else and getting a slow start to what's going on in the league. Last week, just to give you a reminder as to what happened, it was on Sunday at Breeze Stevens. Union Omaha knocked off Forward Madison 2-1. Tucson and Toronto FC 2. They tied at 1. South Georgia Tormenta got that 1-0 win over Chattanooga. Fort Lauderdale CF at Wake Mid knocked off North Carolina FC 2-1. And Richmond had a 3-2 win over New England Revolution in a big game at City Stadium. And then going back to Wednesday, June the 2nd at Grande Sports World, Toronto FC 2 and Union Omaha had a 1-1 draw. So that is your look around USL League One. Thanks as always to Darin van Tassell letting us in on what was going on with Toronto FC as a part of the new USL W-League. The high-level women's team is going to begin play in 2022. So once again, that is your look at USL League One. Jason, send us home.
There can be only one